When you go out into the land, you know the land, it's alive. You see it. The water is alive, the air is alive, the winds are alive, the animals around you. You hear the very significance of the land sing to you as you get up every morning, and you're happy because there's no interference. There's nothing to interfere you out there of what you want to learn about where you come from, who you are. I see the renewing as human beings. It's a teaching that's always been passed down through generation after generation. Everything is a need when it comes to Western civilization. The need for resources. To me, it's a destruction of land where they just clear-cut trees and the ground after that won't grow anything. You'll see landscapes, massive landscapes being destroyed right across Canada. It affects everyone. It affects our way of life, not just us, but also them. And the first thing that creates is mudslides, high levels of water, because this water doesn't know where to go. When you take a tree down, that one tree alone, a full-grown tree, holds about probably 40 to 50 gallons of water. It sucks it up, drinks it. It flows through the way our blood flows to us. Everything flows, like I said, everything has a life. And when you alter that life cycle, it affects everything. It affects everyone. Not just Aboriginal people, it also affects Western civilization.
To me, these Manitoba hydro mega projects have had devastating impacts to us as Indigenous people in many ways. The richness of the land and the waters that provided us everything we needed in life now slowly disappearing. And I have lived and observed this as a child to now as a grandmother.
Because after the raising of the water in the flood, the fish disappeared. And even hunting and gathering is our way of life. That's no longer there. The animals, you'd have to go further inland to where the animals are now because there are no marshes where they feed. You'd have to go further. And one of the things that clearly stood in my mind and to my heart when it came time that even our elders knew what was going to happen. But when they knew, they spoke when they were negotiating. They weren't listened to. They knew this was going to happen to our community. They knew everything would be gone eventually. And it's to this day, we're still facing that. The land washing away. And now we have bigger lakes. And we had seasonal events. Every time we'd go to a fish camp, all our family would be there. Now I can't even take my grandchildren over there. I can't bear to see that my dad's cabin is almost in the water now. That's what I've been told, but I can't go there. It's too hard for me, and I don't want my grandchildren to see that. And to us as Aboriginal people, we were told to carry on our tradition. But now, with this, how can you?
Recently, I've been focusing heavily on the youth. One, because they're questioning what's happening out there, they want to learn. And the other is because it's their lives we're dealing with when we're talking about environmental change. They're going to see the worst of climate change. I'll probably be pushing up daisies long before the worst of that hits us. So I think it's important that youth are engaged in environmental issues, particularly from a traditional perspective. Western science is one thing, but the Indigenous perspective and the Indigenous knowledge that's here has to be transferred. And that's my role right now, is to transfer my knowledge to the next generation of youth. Our people is that we should never try and make the environment subservient to us. We should live with it, try and understand it, and don't try and overpower it. It's better to live with it than to destroy it. Destruction of the environment around us is causing a lot of problems, health-wise, spiritually, mentally. All of those things are being taken away because of Western activities. And the second thing that I try to instill in our youth is that to take ownership, our lives as Anishinaabe peoples, to live in this land. That's our teachings. That's our covenant with the environment, is to live with it in peace, not to overpower it. That's not our way of thinking. We do live in an area where Western methodologies have impacted our communities and our land. And therefore there's a place for Western scientific methodologies in trying to understand what's going on. But what I don't want is for Western science to overpower Indigenous knowledge. There has to be a balance there. And there's an intrinsic value in Indigenous knowledge, and it has to be recognized by all scientists that come here. And that's my role right now in the projects that I work on for Swan Lake Reserve, is to make sure Western science doesn't overpower that. It's in my eyes far more valuable than Western science.